Hello and welcome to another episode of Wealthapp Holiday Adda, where we bring to you the stories of those who dared to dream. Today we are live from Bangalore, and with us we have a very special guest, none other than Colonel Harish Joshi. Colonel Joshi, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here. So if you could please tell our audiences a little bit about yourself to start off with.
Well, without being very presumptuous, mine has been a pretty normal story. And after education, I joined the Indian Army, where I spent 25 years. And after commanding my unit in Kashmir, which was a RR battalion, I decided to sort of move on and do something else in life, and joined the corporate sector following my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. And I worked for a year in Tata Advanced Materials as a general manager before I drifted on again to the United Nations, and I joined the my first field mission in Darfur in Sudan, and that was in 2008. So my professional journey really started in 1980 when I went into training, and then 1981 when I was about 20 and a half years old, I got commissioned in the Indian Army. And 25 years there, 1 year in the corporate sector, besides of course educational stints in between, and then 16 years in the United Nations. And then very recently, just about a month back, I've come away on early retirement from the UN and look to do other things in life.
4 different phases, armed forces and corporate, UN, and now retired life. 2 questions. One is, what is the common experience that you've had through these 4 phases, and what are the underlying differences between the 4 phases?
Well, I think essentially in the area of work, I think the biggest defining factor is that in whatever walk of life you might work, unless of course you are an artist, where you could be a standalone sort of a personality. Everywhere else, it's all a matter of interacting with other human beings. In the armed forces, as a commander, as a leader, you are dealing with hundreds and sometimes thousands of soldiers, and interacting with not only the immediate military establishment, but with a lot of other people in addition. And I think how you connect with people is really what determines your success or failure. And it is really much the same in the corporate sector as well. My entry into the corporate sector was in a high-tech composite material company, where my special business unit was directly responsible for designing, manufacture, sales and marketing, and practically the whole line of corporate sales and the operations really. And in the UN, I was started in a field peacekeeping operation in Darfur, and then went into several other similar missions in Central African Republic, and following up with Colombia in Latin America, where we were part of a very large and very prominent and important peace process, where a very long-standing group, which is called the FARC EP, was brought into the peace process in collaboration with the government, and the UN being the third party to this. So, and thereafter I moved into a special political mission in Iraq. And the difference between all this is that is in the international area, you are dealing with people from very different backgrounds, very different ethics, very different type of way of life, and you have to be a little more sort of open to accept People from all different walks of life, different races, different nationalities, different languages. And but underlying everything else is your human spirit. If you are able to connect with people, you are able to connect with people everywhere. And I think that's what really is the defining element of life and success in life as well.
So, through your journey, I mean, a long and illustrious career spanning various different fields, what was your relationship with money like through the years?
Well, money for the first 25 years, I was in a government job in the military, and of course, we were living practically at subsistence levels. It was almost impossible to eke out savings from what you got. It was hand to mouth, essentially. And these days, I see things are a little different. With subsequent pay commissions, I think the standards have improved. But by the time I left the army, we were, just barely able to manage. And whatever little savings you were able to extract from your day-to-day living expenses, well, you tried to do what you could, and I did my bit as well. Tried to invest in real estate, because the thought at that time in my generation was always that you need to have your own house, an apartment or a house which you could call your own. Because living in government accommodations from one duty station to another, often in the field, away from your families, that was really one of the key requirements. So but of course, thereafter, once I moved into the corporate area, I actually went into a fourfold jump in my salary, and which is I was hugely thrilled with that. And moving on to the UN, it was substantially higher. And thereafter, of course, I realized that it was possible indeed to set aside money and to keep things for the future, and to do more with what you have. And now I find that things are pretty comfortable. And thanks a lot also to Wealthapp and to Shwamajit for supporting me in this in my financial security plans particularly. And I feel very grateful that we have made lots of strides. And at this point, at 63 years of age, I think I'm very comfortably placed. And thank you, Shwamajit, for that as well.
Thank you so much, Colonel Joshi, for sharing your experience with us. We were so happy to have your time today. Thank you so much. It was so lovely talking to you.
Great. Thank you very much, my dear Ranjini. Yeah, great talking with you. And thank you to the Wealthapp team.